We welcome you to episode 23 of Battin and Chattin here in the Eastern Observer alongside Denis Tuohy. I'm Brandon Natale. Now, before we get started, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube to be kept in on the loop on everything Eastern Observer and, most importantly, Battin and Chattin. Our show can be found on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and wherever else podcasts can be found. Now, our show is presented to you by Black Cats NYC. Be sure to download their newest hit single, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us, which can be found wherever music is found, whether that's Spotify, iHeartRadio, SiriusXM Radio, and many others. We are recording to you previously now, not previously, we are recording to you as we speak, where the Texas Rangers are currently hosting their first ever World Series trophy. You see Dennis right now is reacting.
Yeah.
You see Rob Manfred just spoke, and now
Ray Davis, managing partner, majority owner of the Texas Rangers, speaking. It is 11:18 here on the East Coast, New York, Long Island boys,
as we are recording.
long-time viewers know. And it is late, and I'd rather not do anything else right now than record with you, Brandon. Recording the World Series as it concludes live. Awesome, man. Epic.
See GM Chris Young, right?
Yep.
I think he wears the same outfit.
Jeans and a quarter zip to the World Series.
That's the same outfit he wore like the last time I saw him. Like, I feel like he wears the same outfit.
He's a casual kind of guy.
Credit to him for delivering their first ever World Series championship.
Yeah. And what an unlikely team, huh? 11-0 on the road in the postseason. Never been done before. NBD.
Yeah. And
11-0 on the road.
Nathan Eovaldi with 5 of those wins. Well, in the postseason.
Texas Road Warrior Rangers. Unbelievable. 11-0 on the road. And that's, we covered it a lot when it happened. I mean, they showed up to Tampa Bay. They snatched their chains. They went Debo on the Rays. And then they go to Baltimore and make mincemeat of the Orioles. That wasn't a series. And then they go into Astros, go into Houston, and they take a 2-0 lead. They lose 3 straight. And then, and then they beat the Astros. And now here they are. They go 1-1 at home in the World Series, and then they win 3 straight on the road. Unbelievable. And I was saying to my dad earlier, we were watching the game. Without DeGrom, he had 6 starts this season. He gave him a month of games from March 30th to I think like April 29th or something. And a few of those starts were not very good. And then Max Scherzer gave them 2.3 innings in the World Series.
I know I feel like he had to at least give 8 innings, right?
3 starts? No, he didn't, because he only had 1 game in here.
Didn't he pitch? He didn't pitch 2 games. I'm pretty sure he pitched 2 games for them.
Maybe you're right. I'm talking out my ass. He pitched Monday, which was game.
Oh, you're talking about the World Series?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My bad. I thought you were talking about in the postseason.
No, but so he pitched 1 or maybe 2 games in the World Series, and then you have Adolis Garcia, arguably your best player in the postseason. I think that's fair to suggest.
He's ripped. Obviously, he's.
Oh, I always knew he was a big freaking dude. And
as you see, Bruce Bochy lift up the trophy.
Yeah,
good for him. His 4th World Series title.
Yeah, but as I was saying, you have him for 3 games.
Yeah.
And then you win 2 without him. So you're talking, buddy, genuinely, you're missing 3 of your top 5 players on your roster. And you win the World Series. Unbelievable. And listen.
We clap it up.
Of course. I'm not trying to be a prick. I'm not trying to be a tool bag.
Hey.
It's not like they went up against the 1998 Yankees or the 86 Mets or some of the other great historic teams. The 97 Cleveland that lost, but were like a dominant regular season team. The Diamondbacks I think it's fair to say, and I'm not trying to say they got to the World Series. I think it's fair to say this is one of the weaker teams we've seen make it this far. Nobody saw it coming. So it's not like the Rangers did the impossible, but it really was. What a wild Major League Baseball season. What a wild season.
It definitely was a lot.
You think of like the best offensive players in the American League. Neither of them played a full season. Judge, Ohtani, neither of them played a full season.
Yeah, that's
the Angels, the collapse of the empire that never was of Trout and Ohtani. It's just so many crazy stolen bases are back.
Yeah.
Ronald Acuna Jr.'s insane 40 and 80 stat line.
Matt Olson
had a terrific season. Some historic pitching
Baltimore
numbers.
Orioles.
And then it ends with this. And I have it on the screen right now. And then it ends with this. Not only did the Rangers win the World Series, but Corey Seager, in a year where the Dodgers are an immense disappointment, wins his second World Series MVP. The first, he won his first one in 2020 with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Wins his second one with the Rangers. The second position player ever to do so since Reggie Jackson in 73 with the Oakland A's and 77 with the Yankees. The first player to do so, position player, in separate leagues, National League, American League.
Okay. Yeah, that's insane.
So such a wonky, bizarre season. The World Series winning manager on a team that he was not on last year. He wasn't in the league last year.
Yeah.
Last year, the Rangers lost 94 games. It's such an insane season. And when it's all said and done, think of all the teams that we expected to be powerhouses. The Yankees with Rodon, the Mets with Verlander
Padres.
and DeGrom, Verlander and Scherzer, the Padres. All these teams that we expected to be like really good, dominant teams, the Cardinals, other teams, they didn't make it.
I know the Cardinals.
And it was a team that everybody laughed at Jacob DeGrom for saying, "I'm here to win," and everybody was like, "No, you're here for the $50 million, bud." And
that's what
here he is.
I was one of those people.
Although he didn't pitch at all after April, here he is on a World Series winning team. What an insane year. And not only that, before we started this whole postseason thing, we had an episode, and I said no team in the playoffs has as glaring a weakness as the Rangers in their bullpen. Josh Sborz gets red hot and shuts out basically everybody in the postseason.
Yeah.
And goes on a tremendous run. And what happens in the World Series? The once great Diamondbacks bullpen fell.
Yeah, Paul Sewald got
hoisted
rocked
by their own petard.
Paul Sewald got rocked in that last inning. It was 1-0. You would have thought the Diamondbacks would have had a chance to make a comeback, but no, they were getting hits left and right. And then that was Marcus Semien, right, that hit the home run?
Yes.
Yeah, that basically sealed it. I was like, everyone was saying in the chat, they're like, "Oh, they won the World Series." I said, "Not yet." And then once they hit it, I was like, "All right, that's it." Yep.
And listen, up until last game, unplayable at the plate. This entire postseason, he's been bad, like objectively bad.
Yeah, we've been bashing him on. We're not bashing him. We've been, like critical. We've been pretty critical on him because like it's the postseason. What's going on?
We've been doing nothing but singing the praises of the Diamondbacks bullpen. And now end up being their undoing. Unreal. Zach Gallen. Hey, give it up for Zach. Almost 7 innings. 6.1 innings? I'm just going off the top of my head. I could get it easily. I don't know why I'm doing that. But 6.1 innings pitched. Hold on. Oh, that's the wrong freaking game. What are we doing? I have last game. That was weird. All right. Now give me the box score. Why are you showing me MLB's ESPN is all over the place. Yeah. If you see it's just February 22nd on here. I have no idea why. I guess they're updating their MLB page. I was right. 6.1 innings pitched for Zach Gallen. All 3 hits in the 7th inning that he allowed. 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts. Kevin Ginkel, another guy who's been lights out, comes in 1.2 innings pitched, struggling with the strike zone, a very bad performance. Another guy who's been locked down for them, a hit and a strikeout. And then Seawald comes in, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 strikeouts. And Evaldi finally on the right side of history. He had that iconic game in 2018 against the Dodgers in extra innings, and he's on the losing end. And now he's on the winning end of another great pitcher duel. He's 5-0 in this postseason, 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 5 strikeouts, no earned runs. Just an insane World Series in an insane year. And it seems right. It seems like the team that should have won the World Series won the World Series.
Yeah, they were.
It feels right. Like it's sometimes you have championships that I always kind of joke around and say it's the reality TV box is what I like to call it. On like if you buy like the box set of like Survivor season 8 or whatever.
Yeah.
You have like the best players are all on the front. And sometimes it's why I've said this about the MVP votings and whatnot too. Is like there's different ways to do it, and that's kind of the way I always felt it should be done. Is who am I going to talk about for that year? Who's going to be on the box of the
Wheaties? Who's going to be on your box of Wheaties?
Yeah, who's going to be on your DVD?
Oh, that too.
I kind of feel like the Rangers deserved it because they were in first place in their division much of the season. They lost it at the very end. They made big moves at the trade deadline. They made a big move in the offseason to bring in Jacob deGrom and Nathan Evaldi, right? This was his first year with them.
I believe, yeah.
Bochy. You have young guys coming up, Evan Carter, Jonah Heim, Josh Young, 3 guys who nobody really Jonah Heim was very good last season, but he really fell off in the second half. The other 2, Evan Carter just joined the team in September, basically. And who was the other guy? Josh Young.
Yeah.
People were high on him coming into the season, thinking he'd be a productive rookie, but certainly not as productive as he was. And they just check all the boxes. They were always a relevant team. Yes, they had their flaws, especially with the bullpen. What did they do? They made an early trade to get Aroldis Chapman.
Yeah.
And like every single box they checked, like they were always a relevant team.
Yeah.
And maybe that's me. And kind of, once again, almost thinking of it like reality TV and checking the boxes to see, who's going to win Survivor, or Big Brother, or whatever. It's kind of like the same thing. It's like they were always in the mix. And sometimes you have champions that you kind of forget about. And that's fine. That's fun for some people to have like a very unexpected winner that you kind of like, they got here, really? But the Rangers, it was always, if they could tap into that potential, if that lineup can get going, if that starting pitching can get going, if they can be healthy, they're always kind of felt like that kind of, I don't know if I'd say like anxiety, but like you never felt that they were really out of it, like out of contention. I kind of lost faith in them, but it was mostly because other teams in the American League started playing better. So this is just kind of like a wild season, and kudos to them, man, because this was not easy. The most playoff games in a round, in a run ever.
Yeah.
So it's a totally different game. I'm curious how the league is going to change with playoff rules and base rules and whatnot.
Yeah.
Robo umps or whatever. But I really do think this is the start of a new era.
Really?
Definitely. This is baseball. What I like about baseball and I don't like about basketball, and to an extent the NFL, is there's not clearly defined eras like baseball. Writers just kind of agreed this is the steroid era. This is the dead ball modern era, things like that. And I think this is a new rule. I don't know what you'd call this, the generation before this, of the late 2000s through the 2010s. But this 2020 till now, the expanded playoffs era is just what I'm calling it. This is a totally new game.
I like it. The expanded playoff. Yeah, no, I agree.
Because like it's like a new sport practically. Think of all the playoff games these guys are in now. Like I saw Marcus Semien, win, lose, or draw, going into tonight, was going to have the most plate appearances as long as he didn't get injured, breaking Lenny Dykstra's record from 1993 with the Phillies. So you had 800 and not 800, 80 something. I saved it on my phone. I saw it and I thought, oh, of course, I put my phone in freaking airplane mode. But, Derek Jeter's consecutive base hits record broken by Ketel Marte. Just we're going to see so many games now. It's going to be a new sport. Playoff records or whatever. It's how many home runs? Like Altuve is going to, break Manny Ramirez's playoff home run thing. And it's like, I almost kind of don't even care. The next time the Astros are in, Altuve is probably going to break it. I'm not going to care. It's not just because of the Yankee Astro thing. It's because they play so many more games now. That's like, well, yeah, that makes sense. It's a totally new era. And I think that this Astros team last year, okay, fine. The Phillies maybe benefited from, beating the Braves. Braves had too much rest, whatever you want to say, why they got there or whatever. There's really nothing you can say about this Astros team. I mean, this Rangers team, excuse me.
Everyone's got to stop talking about the short rest thing. I feel like, I don't know.
I think that's a stupid argument. I
don't know.
The good teams will find a way to win.
Right. But, yeah. You tested by how you can find a win, Yeah.
Here it is. This is according to Jared Sandler. I guess he's a statistician or writer on Twitter. I found this on Reddit. Most plate appearances in a single season, including postseason. That's what it is. Lenny Dykstra in 1993 for the Phillies, 833. 2003, Juan Pierre, 830. Marcus Semien in third place, 825. Beating Pete Rose, beating everybody, obviously. Pete Rose with 811 and Alfonso Soriano, 2003 with the Yankees, 809. So this is just a totally new, uncharted territory, and the Rangers are kind of the explorers. It is what it is. It's expanded playoffs. There's these new stolen base rules, the pitch clock, everything. Like this is
the new era.
This is the bookend, and whatever you want to call it, that 2000s to 2010s, the dark ages of baseball, bad ratings, a lot of forgettable teams. Like whatever you want to call it, it's when the league was at a low. This is kind of going to be like this is going to be the start of the incline. Especially we had stars being stars. Nathan Eovaldi, Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, guys that we know. Corbin Carroll, a rookie, was the best player on the losing team.
Jacob deGrom when healthy.
Jacob deGrom, if healthy. Max Scherzer, like Adolis Garcia, like
Jonah Heim.
Yeah, young players that people are going to see
going on.
Grow into it, and it's going to be exciting, man. It's going to be really exciting to see where the league goes after this. And let's be honest, people that keep throwing around, look at other teams with the highest payment. Look how they do, Yuki boy. It's like this team spent almost $500 million on two freaking players, Semien and Seager, and they built around them using the guys they already had in their minor league. So this is a new era, man. This is uncharted territory, and I'm stoked. Your thoughts?
Dennis, like you always say, and this is why I'm thankful you're my Battin Chattin mate. Well said. It's everything you just said. I definitely want to talk about the new eras and whatnot. I don't know what you could definitely say this, because this era, you could say it's all about rule change, in my opinion.
Because progressive era,
yeah, it could be progressive,
like more historical.
I don't know about historical, but I'd definitely say more progressive. Definitely, I mean, because the playoff format, I feel like that was kind of, this is before all the rule changes with the pitch clock and there's bigger bases. I feel like what's going to come next though, the robot umps.
Yeah, not only that, but expansion.
Expansion
going to Vegas.
Going to Vegas
for a while about the Rays moving. Now they're going to stay. But people forget before the 2020 season, this is like a dead storyline. People forget the Rays were going to spend half their games in Montreal.
Right.
And people totally forget about that. And it's just, hey, man, it's a new era. Now people are saying, maybe Nashville will get a team. Maybe, apparently, fan votes like to see Charleston getting a team, which is stupid. I already went on that rant 9 weeks ago. But, like, it's a new era, man. It really is. I said it 100 times already tonight, but you could say it 100 more. It's just, it's
This is how
wild.
it is.
It's really
Yeah.
wild. Like that. I kind of feel like that 2019 Nationals team being the last of the 2010s, like it felt right. The team that finally got over the hump, finally won, and a scrappy underdog team in a decade of scrappy underdog teams winning. It
Yeah.
just kind of made sense. And now here we have 3 straight years. The last repeat champion, this is going to sound insane to people, but it's true. The last repeat champion, Brandon, do you know who they were?
Don't say it. Don't tell me. Last repeat was definitely the Yankees.
Yes. 1999 and 2000.
Yes.
Unreal. And then you look at basketball, which is a dynastic sport. You look at the NFL, which isn't dynastic, but good teams tend to stay good, like elite, for a window. And baseball has just been one and dones for 23 years. One and dones. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It's hard. I feel like it's hard. It's hard to repeat nowadays.
Oh, winning a World Series is as hard or harder than any other championship in North America sports.
But to repeat it, forget about it.
Yeah. But that's why. It's a marathon. And it makes my respect for the Big Red Machine of the 70s and the Yankees in the 90s, especially
late
the
90s.
Yankees in the 90s, because of the roles being different than they were in the 70s. My respect for those teams goes up astronomically. Like you can say, like, well, the Yankees bought championships, but like, there's a reason why they won 4 in 5 years. Like, and nobody's won 2 in a row in 23. It's different. And I hope this Rangers team and the ownership and the front office, I'm glad that they seem very hell-bent on not making this like an anomaly. The 2001 Diamondbacks, they never got close to coming back. The 02 Angels, they were never really a threat after 02. The Marlins in 03. The White Sox in 05. You could go down the line. And
Cardinals in 06.
But they won in 11.
What about Boston? You got Boston.
Sure, yeah, but they I'm saying they had windows, but there was a lot of one and done teams that really had no business winning a championship. In terms of like having like a window.
The Phillies almost repeated, but they,
they got back to back. I'm not going to kill them. Same thing with the Royals, but like it's just this is going to be new, man. I'm excited. I don't know if right now usually after a championship or whatever, you think like, God, how can anybody beat these guys next year? And I don't have that feeling with this Rangers team. They're beatable.
Okay,
they're totally beatable. It's
but
just
that's exciting. But I feel like you just listed all the players. I'm saying like you just said all the players that they have. They have future to right. Stay winning. Stay in the competitive nature that they've been this whole postseason. When they came through in the postseason, they were clutch. They faced up against Baltimore, the number 1 seed, the Goliath of the AL. They dominated.
They really made it light work. It was an afterthought of a series.
The Lone Star series was great, though. I mean, that was not easy, though. They came back down from 3-2.
Oh no! Yeah, that was a grind. That was a bloodbath, quite literally, with Garcia and Martin Maldonado. But like, it was fun. That was fun to watch in Cleveland too. Hanging out watching that one. But like, yeah, the news is on now.
I just saw that. Yeah, I got that.
Now. I don't care about worldly current events. No.
It's the same. The same
celebration. It's on FS1 if you have FS1.
Okay, yeah, yeah. No, this isn't Fox News or CNN. This is the Bad and Chattin podcast. We are not no political podcast. You want that?
A
Yeah.
bipartisan podcast.
But
Yeah,
I mean, I guess I feel like anybody's beatable nowadays. It's hard to it's hard to repeat because I feel like in sports nowadays everything is so competitive. It's not easy to
yeah,
Oh,
and there's rules about free agency and who you can get and
I was
minor
reading.
league
I was
system.
reading today. I have a book. It's called NFL Freezing Hot Cold Takes. Now it's about football, but it's still pretty good. Like today, I read about Reggie White in that era, and
Mhm.
it was talking about how players wouldn't want to go to. So like free agency was open, but back then in the NFL, it's like the only way you can get out of your team if it's obviously if a team lets you go or if they trade you. You know, so
Mhm.
once you had that contract, you were with that team for however. And the moment with that is like the reason why it's such a freezing cold take is many people didn't believe that Reggie White was, like when it came to the Packers, like Reggie White visited teams like, the Niners, even the Jets. Crazy enough. And, as a Jet fan, that was crazy for me to read about. But they were saying, why would anybody want to sign with Green Bay when you could go to, big market team? And that's what I'm trying to get at. People didn't think that they thought free agency was going to hurt because it would hurt the small market teams like Green Bay. And next thing you know, Green Bay actually turned out to be a good fit for Reggie White. He liked it. He thought everything that he almost signed with San Francisco, but everything that San Francisco was in Green Bay. So the point I'm trying to get at is that you know free agency has a big impact definitely on the team. So like Texas, I feel like Texas is definitely a big market. Is it?
Oh well, yeah, they throw money around like,
Yeah.
dude. They literally have a $500 million tied up in 3 players. Over that with Semien, Seager, and Degrom. And by the way, just a quick observation: I'm
Yeah.
seeing the Diamond. I keep saying Astros because of the Arizona clubhouse attendant handing out the beers and champagne to the Rangers. And I just thought to myself, that guy's got to be so uncomfortable right now. Like your team, the relationships you have in that job, like knowing players and whatnot for the Diamondbacks, and having to hand out the celebratory stuff to the team that just whooped them. That's got to suck.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say that you're in a winning locker room, but that's still got to suck. So, what were you saying? I cut you off for something totally unrelated.
But I guess yeah,
You
no,
talked
like I
about
said,
Reggie
like
White.
free agency is definitely a big impact. But I mean, whether you're a small market team or you're a big market team, I mean, no matter what, if a player thinks you're gonna win and if a player sees something in you, they're gonna go to you. So like I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. So I guess that's where you saw players like Simeon, like Seager, like Degrom, like they saw something in Texas. It didn't matter whether a small market or big market team. Like if a player sees something in the organization, they're gonna sign with them. That's why free agency is so big, because you're coming together and you're building a team, and that's what the Texas Rangers, in my opinion, did. Chris, like I always mentioned, Chris Young, he did such a great job. They had high expectations, and then you had the injuries that happened to the team. They were ready to go, and they didn't look back. This is the definition of facing adversity, Dennis.
Oh yeah.
What Texas did, they had so much in their way. They still didn't care. They kept seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. They kept going, and they just played ball. You know.
I do think, on a semi unrelated note, when you're talking about, it doesn't matter about market size or whatever anymore. Excuse me. I do think that different championship, different, 3 years in a row, really four, dating back. Well, I guess you could say 23 years in a row. Teams of all different markets in baseball have won. And I think personally, especially for baseball, and I don't care what anybody wants to say or comment, sports markets have gone extinct. There is no argument for a sports market anymore. There's teams that want to win and are going to spend the money to win, and there's teams that aren't, and that's that. There's
Right.
teams in the middle that don't know what they want to be yet. I've been saying that forever, and this kind of proves it. This wasn't like the Dodgers. Once again, what were we talking about before the season started? Padres, very small market.
Mets.
Mets, Yankees, Dodgers,
Braves.
Sox, but Braves. The team's kind of like the usual suspects, Houston. And it wound up being Arizona versus Texas.
It's definitely not the matchup we all thought.
No. So I just think but what happened? The team, the Rangers wanted to put together a winner. They put together a winner. The Diamondbacks wanted to, put together a winner. They put together a winner. They didn't have a splashy offseason by any means, but at the trade deadline, they brought in Paul Sewald. They made some other kind of supplemental moves before and during the season, and they got into the right spot. So it's just, listen, if you put together a winning team, guys are going to come there. And guess what? For
Yeah.
veterans that are free agents, guess what just became a destination? Arizona. Are they a bigger market than they were on March 28th, the day before the season started, or 29th, the day before the season started? No.
Mm.
It's just now you have a winner. And now guys that want to ring and have other accomplishments, all-star appearances, all MLBs, etc., in their careers, and the one thing they're missing on the mantle is the World Series trophy. Guess where they're going to consider going now? The teams that are winning and putting together, a core of talent. So I'm just, I got to say, from a fan perspective, if you're Baltimore and you have that young talent, you got to spend money now. You've got to. If you're the Rays and you're looking at, well, we can put together a win, look what we've done to the Yankees anytime we face them in the playoffs. It's like, look what the Rangers did. With 3 players making $500 million, they humiliated your team on the road and embarrassed your fan base that had, 80% of the stadium covered, filled. The lowest excluding COVID ever. You got to be mad. You got to be pissed. You got to have some pride. So I understand the financials are the financials, but if you're the Marlins and your team finally makes the playoffs for the first time in 20 years, they made it in 2020, but let's not count that. There was no fans. It's not because of the whole, it was a shortened season. There's no fans to enjoy it, so it doesn't count to me.
Right.
Your team finally puts together a winning season. You get rid of your GM. And
yeah,
once again, teams are, fans are asking, and I'm plugged in with the Marlins fans. Fans are asking, is this going to be like 97 and 03, and we're just going to waste all the talent and potential we have? A jaded fan base because they don't want to spend the money. And that's in Miami. That is a good market, man. I don't want to hear jack.
you love Miami.
How come the Heat are all in? Talk about the freaking, because it doesn't make sense to me. They should be a dominant team.
You love Miami.
They should be a dominant team. It's unreal. They're
the
pitching
Dolphins are
factory.
looking good right now. Like
the Dolphins.
Like Miami's a heating up sports
money.
town right now.
How the hell do the Tampa Bay Lightning get every free agent under the sun, and the Tampa Bay Rays are crying poverty? It's hockey. It's hockey in Florida, Brandon. What are we doing? So hopefully this is kind of a team that spent the money. And when you're going to see the post next season, Brandon, the Yankees are going to start 2-10 and the Mets are going to start 3-10 or whatever. You're going to see, well, this is the highest payroll teams and these are the lowest payroll teams. And look how good they did. It's going to be, we're going to see that. We saw it all of this year and all of last year. And guess what? The team that spent $500 million on 3 players, it's like destroyed. They went what? 15 is what it takes to win now? No. 4-4 is 8, 10, 13. So they got 13 wins in the postseason. They went 13-3. They dominated the postseason. They dominated.
They did. Hold up on that thought.
So it's very interesting. Talking about the new eras and how the Nationals were the last team to win of like the that 2000s to 2010s era, that post-steroid era. Who's on both of them is Max Scherzer. It's very interesting.
Mhm.
So.
Mm.
So what stood out to you? We talked about the macro and the historical significance of this World Series, cultural significance. What stood out to you just from a game perspective? For me, it was the stolen bases coming back. Corbin Carroll had 2 or 3 tonight.
You talking about the World Series or just the season?
The World Series.
I just feel like the Rangers game 1 was insane.
That was a good game.
That was great. I remember watching. I saw that where Corey Seager tied it up, and I don't know who I was speaking to about it. I was speaking to one of my friends, and how they were just explaining how it's like, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, man on first or man on base. Like you're not gonna expect someone to tie up the game like that. I mean, that was Paul Sewald, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, he got rocked in this world. I feel like he got rocked in this World Series. It was not the perfect World Series for him. And Texas just I just I look back and I think back, and when I see Texas winning it, I just think back to 2011 when 2010, 2011 when they made it to the World Series. In 2010 got swept by the Giants, who started their dynasty that World Series. Then the next year they were very close to winning it that time in 2011, but David Freese said otherwise. And Dave, after, and then David Freese ended up walking it off, where Joe Buck said we'll see you tomorrow night,
Yeah.
and St. Louis ended up closing it out, the next night. I definitely think it's just I think back to, just because I remember that back then, when in 2011, that was a big World Series. People don't forget that.
Yeah.
What David Freese did was legendary. So, it's just, I think back to those teams, that how far that Texas has come to, that they're very deserving of this World Series. They dominated the games. They've dominated game 4. You see Travis Jankowski, he has 2 hits. He was a former Met. Marcus Semien had, went 2 for 5. Obviously Josh Hung, like you said, young player, up and coming. Just dominating team. I like you said, they're just stacked left for right. They fit the boxes, like you said. They got the players in each position. I don't really see one weak spot, really, or unless you can tell me. I guess you said, people have been saying the bullpen has been saying, like I said, they got Andrew Heaney, but they had the depth. What I mean? They even had Max Scherzer on their team.
It's crazy that they won the World Series. And like I said at the beginning of the program tonight, they won a World Series while missing arguably 3 of their best 5 players. Or 3 of their best 6 players, rather. I did kind of sell Marcus Semien a little short. But no Garcia, no DeGrom, no Scherzer. And they won the World Series. Unbelievable.
They deserve a popcorn and some movies.
Yeah, I was nervous for the Rangers because last night they won 11-7, but they scored 10 runs in 2 innings, which is, people will say that's great, but Diamondbacks still scored 7 late in the game. I thought maybe that momentum could carry over a little bit. Like, yeah, we lost, but we're trending up. And then as Gallen was, going through the lineup, I mean, it goes 7.1 innings, 6.1 innings pitched. And fantastic outing. But if there's nothing more indicative of the Rangers season, Brandon, than Nathan Eovaldi constantly getting in jams today. 5 times there are runners in scoring position with 1 or 0 outs, and he doesn't earn a single run. He doesn't let up a single earned run, excuse me. That is so indicative of the way their season went. Bend but don't break. Their bullpen, bend but don't break. Their starting pitching in the postseason, bend but don't break. They're hitting, grind every at bat, bend but don't break, and it's the way they won. Fun team to watch.
Very fun team. I definitely think, as I'm watching them celebrate, I was watching Bruce Bochy. Like I said, good for Texas. Like, they saw a World Series. This is literally could be like a freezing cold takes right here. People said Texas wasn't going to do anything. Oh, DeGrom's just there for the money, as and DeGrom really he saw something, and a lot of people didn't. A lot of people ran on Texas. I just wonder, do you think that any of these, like, if the players weren't hurt, do you feel like they still would have been on the trajectory that they went on?
No, I don't think if they had DeGrom, I don't think they get Scherzer.
Right.
So, not particularly. But if they also had a full healthy season of DeGrom, I also think they win their division. And then all of a sudden, you have Semien, Seager, DeGrom with Garcia and some of these other guys, Josh Young, Jonah Heim. Mitch Garver had a very good season for them. DH.
Yeah, you see, Bruce Bochy's one of 6 managers to win 4 or more World Series titles. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Future Hall of Famer.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know how many managers have won one World Series in 3 different decades, or have been to one World Series in 3 different decades.
That's a good question. Can't be Joe Torre, could it?
Not
Joe
that I
Torre could be
know
one
of.
of them. I feel like he could be.
I think he only has 2. I don't know how well he
2
did
decades.
before the Yankees. Yeah, 90s and 2000s with the Yanks.
You maybe want to count as a player or just manager?
I'm just manager.
Right.
I'm not going to think too hard. Probably Casey Stengel.
Oh, yeah.
He was managing forever, like Branch Rickey. Was another guy who's like
first ever Met
was a
manager.
GM. Branch Rickey was a GM, but I think he was a manager at one point too. Guys that like were just in it forever. Tony La Russa, maybe. Oh yeah, Tony La Russa. 80s, 2000s, and 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010. Because he was with the Bash Brothers.
Let's see.
In
He
the
won
80s with the
7. So
A's.
he won 7. He won 7 from 1949 to 1960.
Casey Stengel?
Yes.
Wow. He won. How many did he win? He won all 7 with the Yankees, I'm guessing then, right? At least 5.
Yeah, he won all them. He won all them with the Yankees. It doesn't. I don't think he won it. I think he only just won it in the 40s and the 50s. Well, 49 with the Yankees, and his last one was in 58, and he clinched the pennant in 60 with the Yankees, but they didn't win the World Series. So in total, with the Yankees, he had 10 pennants and 7 World Series. That's remarkable. What a great manager he was.
Insane.
Shoot.
Bochy, 5th manager to win World Series with multiple teams. Obviously, Giants and Rangers.
He was a Dodgers manager too. I wish I can go back and I know we'll talk about this in the future, but I wish I can go back and just watch the Brooklyn Dodgers. That must have been that must have been legendary. My grandpa used to, from what my dad tells me, he used to go all the time.
It's cool.
Yeah, man. We'll definitely get into another episode, but I just want to say I predicted it. Texas. I said Texas was going to win it. You were firmly with your Diamondbacks.
Yeah, that was an awful take. I thought the Diamondbacks were going to win. I was wrong. I thought Evan Longoria was going to win World Series MVP, and he did.
I deserve some popcorn for that.
You do deserve some popcorn, Brandon. You got it right. You said Seager to win the World Series MVP, didn't you?
I'm not sure. I gotta go back. I gotta look back at the episode.
Pretty sure you did.
But I said I wonder how Chapman was going to play.
I can't even see the freaking FS1 screen. I can't even see the full freaking thing.
What do you mean?
Because my screen, I guess, is too small on this TV. So it's just one of 6 managers to win 4 or more World Series blank.
Titles.
Oh, that's not that important. I couldn't see the pitch count all game. Couldn't see the
I just
pitch
wonder
count on any
who's that guy
pitcher.
like dancing in the back by the flag. I don't know if no,
I
they're
see
like
him
hiding
with the
him up.
black shirt.
Yeah, not the guy behind the guy in the black shirt. No, he was.
Oh,
I don't know what that
I
guy
don't
was
see that.
doing. I guess it's cool. It's like all family and friends. I guess out of there. That's pretty dope.
Season ticket holders, I'd imagine.
Oh, that'd be dope. Oh, imagine having season. I actually know a girl that actually just got season tickets for the Mets. I don't know how much that cost, but
Sheesh.
I
Buddy of
would have
mine,
season. You know what?
a buddy of mine who I work with, his parents, he's younger than us. His parents every year would get him Islanders season tickets. And that was his birthday and Christmas present was Islanders season tickets. He said it
Really?
got too expensive now, but UBS, he said he had sell seats.
That sucks. Yeah, I
Like
hate
he
that.
just
That kind
doesn't
of.
have it anymore. He was like really bummed out. He's like a 19-year-old kid too. So
I'd be too. I wish the Jets were in Long Island or Queens. If they were closer, me and my dad, we
it's such a
say,
pain. It's
we
such a
say,
pain to get there. It's so bad.
we say it all the time, like that. We would me and my dad. We say it all the time. We would have season tickets. We would. That's how diehard of a Jet fan I am. Now with the
Oh no.
Mets, I know the Mets are. I mean, I would consider Mets season tickets in the future. We'll see. I mean, I went to a lot of games this year. I mean, whether it's with you or Yankee Stadium, I would have Mets season tickets if I could. A nice baseball game, see players like yeah, I think the best player I saw this year was Otani.
I saw him too. I saw him twice.
Did you see him at Yankee Stadium, right?
Yeah, and at Miami for the WBC.
Yeah, that must have been sick. That must have been good.
That was awesome. The Trout Otani at bat. That was sick.
Man, good for them.
Yeah, we got to talk off air. I might get Devils tickets for MetLife Stadium too. They're playing the day before. You guys didn't tell me that.
Um,
Earlier, Nick told me that the Devils are playing the day before, so I might
yeah,
see
they're
if
playing the
one of my
Flyers.
friends want to meet me up there,
Uh,
and
I'm
then I might just get a hotel and just stay the night.
and then meet us, me, Mike, and Cooper.
Yeah, meet you guys the next day if I go to
Yeah,
the
no,
Devils
that's
game.
fine. Yeah,
It's a matter of me getting my friends because like I don't know anybody who'd want to go.
I'm glad. It's not a bad idea. I consider it. I saw something my coworker. I don't know who sent it to me, but it was Mike that sent it. That they're having like like I think it was the commissioner who said that they're gonna have like all like a festival or concerts, something like that. Not a festival, but like yeah, like a fan fest. I think something like that. They're making like a pretty big thing with the stadium series in MetLife.
Yeah, I might get Devils tickets.
I would consider it. I mean, if you
Should.
wanted me to come,
I haven't seen the Devils since 2014.
yeah, you should definitely look into that. Um, but I guess back to baseball. What are you most excited for now? Looking forward in the off season.
This is gonna be such a cliche answer. I want to see where Otani goes. I'm really curious.
I feel like they really think he's gonna go to the Mets. They are really sold that like Steve Cohen's gonna throw the money at him.
Who's sold?
Like the media, like I see it on SNY.
Oh, what?
I know SNY is a Met. It's a Mets thing, but
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything. Giants
well,
fans are also
ESPN.
convinced Aaron Judge is going to the Giants.
Okay, well, that's the Giants.
That
The
to me
Giants
is
flipped on.
ridiculous. Like they still like are in like denial. It was never close. It was. I'm telling you, it was never close. If Aaron Judge won a ring with the Yankees last year, I think he would have went to the Giants. I don't think that the second he lost with the Yankees, I was like, we might lose him. Then I thought for a second, I'm like, who's he going to go to? I just immediately thought, I'm like, Otani's going to be a free agent soon. Dodgers are saving up for him. We know that. Who's he going to go to? The Giants with that team. Okay. hyper competitive guy who's never won a championship is going to go to
Yeah,
the
he
Giants.
like
Okay,
Judge was bound
okay.
to be a Yankee. He was not gonna leave. Like,
Yeah.
and I like Judge.
Oh,
I
he's a great face of the
He's a
game.
great guy. No, he's such a great guy. If he doesn't get a ring in the future, I would that's would be such a wasted career. Not wasted, but like I said, he deserves a ring. Like how
He's the
DeGrom won tonight for his accolades, and he finally has a ring. Judge deserves just as much.
Judge would be only the second great Yankee to not have a ring behind Don Mattingly.
Don
Everyone
Mattingly,
else
yeah.
has one.
That
Every
sucks that
other
Don
great
Mattingly
Yankee
was
has
yeah.
one.
That
He had
sucks
one
that Don
postseason,
Mattingly was 1 year short of that.
one postseason series, and he went freaking bonkers against the Mariners. Have you ever seen the footage of him hitting his home run at Yankee Stadium in Game 3 of the ALDS?
I think so, yeah.
It is it if even if you're not a big Yankee fan or even you're watching this, I'm guessing you're a big baseball fan. Hi fans, hi listeners, hi viewers. You have to watch it. Even if you're not a sports fan, it is insane. The old Yankee Stadium is literally shaking. It would be like, I don't know what the equivalent is because we don't see it in sports anymore. That great players don't make it to the playoffs. I don't know.
It happens. Trust me, it happened.
Like,
Coming from a Jets fan and a Mets fan, it happens a lot.
yeah, yeah. I guess with how few teams make the playoffs in baseball, it's the only sport that can happen. Is like a legit like this guy only went to the postseason. Like I think Ted Williams only went to the postseason like once or twice.
What?
Because back then, only the top two teams made it. Only the top American and National League team made it.
So it
To the
was
playoffs.
that competitive back then, baseball, right?
So only two teams made the playoffs
It was
in the
that
whole
competitive.
league.
It was that
So
competitive.
it was probably like 20 something teams back then. Yeah. So Ted Williams only has like one or two like postseason
That
appearances. He might only have
sucks.
one. He also lost time to World War II in Korea. But what a different time that is. Could you imagine some of these guys now going to war, fighting a war? Yeah, I'll believe what I see.
That's insane. I think that just shows
There's
how
no load
competitive.
management. There's no load management in war. Unfortunately,
Damn,
for
yeah,
NBA
war is
players.
not fun.
No,
What am I gonna say? He passed away in 2002. So that's crazy.
that I know.
What?
That I didn't know.
It's crazy. What am I gonna say? Yeah, he fought in World War II. God bless. I think that just shows how competitive baseball was back then. And you look back now, it's like, how do you not make the playoffs? It's like
Do
they're
you
doing
like it?
everything for you to make the playoffs.
What do you think now that we have 2 seasons of the new rules? What do you like?
What do I like?
What do you like? What playoff format do you like?
I like I like this. I don't mind. I feel like you get a mix. Like I said, you get a mixture of each. I mean, you get a mixture of each team, and I feel like it gives teams a better advantage. And I mean, no matter what, the sports is still competitive. I feel like the sports stays competitive no matter what. Like, look at the Diamondbacks. No one ever thought they were going to make it. Like you see, it gives teams more an advantage because maybe they're better than who they are. I mean, you would have thought a team like the Dodgers, who had 100 wins, many people would have thought they were going to go to the World Series. The Dodgers said otherwise. I like it because, like I said, like I'll say it again, it gives teams like the Diamondbacks, the Marlins, like the Phillies, like more of an advantage to make a run for the World Series, and that's the goal of the end of the day. So I think, and honestly, it gives free agents more options to say, hey, the Dodgers look good too, but hey, the Diamondbacks also went to the World Series. They have a good, they seem like they have everything put together. Let me see what they got. You know, Texas Rangers, they just won the World Series. Great talent, great core around. People might want to join that because maybe they got something going on. I think it also puts other teams more in the mix of exposure for who they really are, in my opinion. I mean, that's why I like the format, and I mean, I'm just hoping the Mets can take advantage of that because, come on, Like, I'm tired of seeing the postseason once every 10 years. Like, that's not. Come on, you know what I mean, Dennis? So I mean, that's my thoughts on it. What are your thoughts?
I think the current format is the best it's been.
Yeah,
2 teams is ridiculous. That's like stupid. That only the best team in the AL and I don't make it. That's dumb.
yeah, yeah.
Four teams, even
That's
I think
terrible.
that's a little much.
Like,
3 teams,
yeah.
one with the bye is like a little weird because then you have the one team with the bye. And then once they went to 4 in 1995, the Don Mattingly series against the Mariners was the first DS ever. A round of DSs, I guess. That kind of made more sense. And then they threw in like that whole like wild card thing when we were in high school. They make it 5 each. That I liked a lot. And I feel like now I think this is the best because 162 games to have your season come down to one game is a little. I get it. The intensity of that one game is epic, but it did kind of feel a little lame from like a fan perspective of like, wait a minute. So I sat through all of this to lose one game, like it was a little odd, but now I feel like, people are saying like, maybe they should all be best of 7 series. I'm like, okay, well, so it's December 1st and game 1 of the World Series on Fox. Like, how long are we going to make this freaking thing? But, yeah, it's like, oh, players get hurt all the time, so let's just add in 15 more playoff games. It's weird. So, yeah, I don't know what they're going to do moving forward, but I like it. I like this format a lot. 2 teams get a bye. Like, you're never going to argue the rest versus rust. All right, fine. Guess what? You can also set up all your pitchers. And if you have veteran players or guys coming back from an injury, they get to rest. Like that's not an advantage. Maybe you should give an option of playing in the first round or resting, whatever. If you think it's that much of a disadvantage, give it to someone else. But I don't know. If I was a player, I think I'd take the week. Granted, I know, shocking, not a Major League Baseball player. So what do I know about the whole rest versus rust thing?
I guess I feel like. Do you feel like they're gonna start bringing up the robo umpires real soon?
I think it's going to be the way it is, where the game is how we've seen it, and then each team has like 3 challenges or something. I don't want to get too. I don't want to get too intense with the whole challenges and whatnot because it's like murdering the NBA right now.
Yeah.
You're not as much of an NBA fan as I am, Brandon, but like the final 2 minutes of an NBA game, if you think you're getting out of there, if it's a close game, if you think you're getting out of there in less than 30 minutes, you're out of your mind. It's so bad. Everything's a review, timeouts this, timeouts that. They go to the constant freaking commercial breaks, and crunch time. Oh my God. If you're going to waste my time, at least have someone talk about, this play of the game or what happened in this game on the other network or something. Like, don't waste my time showing me Jake from State Farm for the 893rd time of the broadcast. I'm sure State Farm is a great insurance company. Guess what? Don't care.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I, I, I hate commercials so much. Hate's a strong word. That's why I use it.
That's a lot. It's definitely very. I don't know. I gotta say, I guess before I wrap up, because it's been a long day. I think
I'm like Jack Morris in the World Series when he went 10 innings and just
we
gassed at the end.
could
That's
ask
me.
Gene about that. Yeah.
Yeah, just like
Hey, but I give you credit.
yeah. I don't have my fastball anymore, buddy. I'm just throwing nothing but junk over the plate.
No, hey, I'm very appreciative of you, D Train.
Oh, thank you. You too, buddy. This was a fun year.
I definitely think it was definitely a fun year of Definitely fun year of football. No, not football, baseball. I'm excited for what the offseason brings. It's definitely going to be a very fun offseason, in my opinion. I like to see what the Mets do. I hope they reload as much as they can. It's going to be very interesting. And, hopefully, like to see what happens with Pete Alonso. Hope they keep him. Early
You know
hopefully,
my thoughts on that.
I know. I hope the Yankees add some pitching, for their sake.
We
Um,
had a. Oh, I'm sorry. Continue.
I'm excited for the off seasons. Because it's just going to be interesting to see what the Mets do and for the rest of the MLB. What are your thoughts before that?
I hope the Yankees add Juan Soto. Cannot wait. Can't
You
wait
know
to
my
buy the
thoughts.
Soto jersey.
You have it ready to go. You ready to give it to Steinbrenner right now? Be like, hey, take my money. Give me a soda.
Yeah, no, I'll just tell Steinbrenner how much is the chicken bucket. You can afford Juan Soto. And then he was
Sure.
look at me like, "How did this kid get into my office?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it.
Just give me my. Here's my card.
Don't worry about it." By the way, where are those chicken buckets? Up down that way to the left. Oh, thanks, buddy.
I could use a chicken bucket. All right.
There's chicken buckets. If you ever go to Yankee Stadium, chicken bucket.
City
You got it. You got it, dude. That thing could keep you fed for days.
They say that City Field is like a big cafeteria, but so is I feel like Yankee Stadium too.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm very disappointed with the culinary options at City Field.
Really?
I feel like everything's a real Brandon. I can't cuss on here. I feel like everything's a really long wait, really long bleeping wait at City Field. I think everything takes forever.
It did the last time I was there when I went to see the Mets Angels when I went to get Shake Shack. Um, I sat maybe we were online from like the from the third inning to the sixth because
Yeah,
it's there for taking forever. It was annoying. I was
they
getting
take
furious.
so long, and also there's like 800, a lot of 800s today. There's like a ton of freaking suites and lounges and this, that, and the other. Like, how many when we went to the Dodger game, how many Mike Piazza lounges did we have to go through before we were finally in the
Oh, that was
same one
annoying.
at the same time?
I was so furious because I couldn't find you guys. Me and I think it was
Is
one
you
of
and Joe? Well, yeah, our buddy
and
Joe.
Joe Wellner, and I was furious because we're like, where are you? Oh, the Piazza Club. No, we're in the Piazza Club, and he's just nowhere to be seen. I was like, damn.
The best one was we were in one that was like really upscale originally. And we're like, where this doesn't seem right at all. So we asked like, hey, where do we get seated, or do we just like, is it open seating? And they're like, oh, let me scan your ticket. Oh, you're for the other one. Then we went there, and I was like, oh, this kind of sucks. There's nowhere to sit because I remember it was like kind of a hot day when we went, and it was air conditioned, so people were just like showing up. It was bad. It was bad. I lost a lot of respect for City Field that day. Not a big fan of your concessions.
Oh, I'm
But
sorry.
they do have the Arnold Palmer Tall Boys, which is
Tough boys.
my weakness, my kryptonite.
Man, I'm excited. I love baseball, and I'm excited. I'm always excited for a ball game. But for now, it's football season, so I'll be ready for that. Until then, like I said, I'm excited for the off season. But any other thoughts before we wrap up?
So the Rangers won the World Series, Corey Seager World Series MVP. If the Diamondbacks won, who would the World Series MVP have been to you, Brandon? Go.
Um, we How did Corbin Carroll do? I feel like he had a decent.
I would have said Corbin Carroll as well.
Yeah, there
Or
you go.
Ketel Marte.
Yeah, either Marte, me on the bullpens. I don't know. Definitely not Paul Sewald for the bullpen side. He did not have a good World Series.
I can't judge the guy. He had literally 2 bad games. So, and was a completely dominant for, I don't know how many other games he played. I don't have it offhand. I should have it offhand. All right. I'm ready to call it a night.
All right. So be sure to check out our revamped website at www.easternobserver.com for the latest news in the world of baseball and so much more. We thank you for joining us for another edition of Battin Chattin. For my co-host Denis Tuohy and the entire Blackjack Media Group team, I'm Brandon Natale saying so long, and we'll see you next time. What a great season.
Yeah, what a tremendous 2023 Major League Baseball season.